Hello there, heroes. I'm the Orange Ranger, and I've got another toy review here for you right now. And this is a big one, and I actually mean that literally. As you can see here, I've got the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Beast X Ultrazord. This set is an Amazon exclusive that, as you can see along the left side of the box there, compiles the 5 primary Zords from Hasbro's Beast Morphers Transforming line. The cheetah, the jackrabbit, the gorilla, the scarab, and the mantis. And noticeably, the first thing that just jumps out at you is the size of this thing. It is massive. I'm actually going to show you the best way I can compare, and that is putting this next to the previously largest Power Rangers toy I have. Alright, here this Megazord is posed right alongside the Samurai Gigazord, that is the Bandai of America toy. And before anybody mentions it, yes, I realize that the arms are not correct on the Samurai Gigazord. That is something that I do intentionally, since I don't like how the Samurai Gigazord takes the only 2 Zords in the formation assigned to female Rangers and slaps them on the back of the throne like ornaments, especially when they're arms. So I took them and put them up as the arms, and the Bullzord's arms, which are symmetrical and more ornate anyway, go to the back of the throne to be ornaments and cannons. So I think it just works a lot better that way and represents the female Rangers a little bit more. But this is not a review of that toy. I actually made a video, not specifically about that, but about the Samurai Gigazord in general about 1 billion years ago. This video is about the Megazord on the right. Now, actually, I was expecting this size comparison to be a little less favorable to the Samurai Gigazord. I would say that the Beast X Ultrazord is slightly taller, but really it looks pretty even up, so I'm kind of surprised. It does seem a little bit wider and a little bit bulkier, but just here you go. This is going to be my very first experience with Hasbro Zords, and I figured I'd just get the entire set at once. Like I said, this is a Amazon exclusive. It costs about $150, which is a lot to swallow all at one time. It's about $30 a Zord, which is really good for the cheetah and the mantis, which have the extra modes, but it's not that great for the other Zords, which don't have the 3rd mode on them. But all in all, you know, I think it works out, and we'll see how the value goes. Alright, Gigazord, we gotta pull you out here and focus on the other one. So you know that all of my toy review videos start with a look at the box, and on here on the front you can see nice design with the pictures of the Ranger Zords. For some reason I really like the jackrabbit. I think it's just a nice detailed like face, and it just looks really cool. Turning the box here, we have a nice action pose of the Beast X Ultrazord. Coming to the back, we see how we have, sorry about the reflection of the light by the way, but we have the Beast Racer Converting Zord with its 3 modes. We have the Beast Chopper Converting Zord with its 2 modes, the Beast Wheeler Converting Zord with its 2 modes, the Beast Jet Converting Zord with its 2 modes, and the Beast Wrecker Converting Zord with its 3 modes. And exclusive to this set, I believe, I'm almost positive, is this adjustable platform that carries the 5 Rangers up to the Ultrazord. Turning it to this side here, you see a nice shot of the 5 Rangers, and this shot of Devin stretches around to the front of the box, although the way it bends is a little hard to notice. The top of the box has another shot, I think the same shot actually, of the Beast X Ultrazord. And by the way, Saban's Power Rangers. Interesting, I guess an older set. Anything interesting on the bottom? Actually, yes. This is really neat. I haven't seen this on other packaging. We've got the Saban's Power Rangers logo and the Grid Battle Force Go Busters logo. I think that's pretty neat. Is that a flap? That's a flap! So as I was making the box do somersaults, I realized that this picture of the Zords here is a flap that is Velcroed on. And as you open it, it shows you the 5 Zords in their vehicle modes and pictures of the 5 Rangers. They correspond to their Zords, but they don't exactly line up, and there's just circuitry right here, so you figure that could line up, but anyway. That's just attached with 2 pieces of Velcro, there and there. This did come to me from Amazon, so I'd be remiss to mention the box is in pretty good shape, but there's this little top section here that popped open, so there's that. Alrighty, I'm going to stop the camera to open up this box because I think this is going to take a lot, but when I get everything out of the box, I will show you. Whew. Okay, about 20 minutes or so of disassembly out of the box and undoing plastic ties and putting things back together. This is the Beast X Ultrazord and the Amazon exclusive little stand, which is actually where I want to start my focus here, because weird as this is going to sound, right now it's the part that's impressing me more. Now, you might say, there's not really much to this. It's just 5 little figurines of the Beast Morphers Rangers on a platform. But look at how they're painted. And I mean, they're not perfectly painted. My main observation here, and I might use a little digital zoom to show you this, is that Gold's face doesn't seem to be painted at all. Like, his visor isn't really distinguishable from anything else. But, I mean, like, for the belts to be distinguishable and the pants, you know, and the gloves and everything, honestly, and I don't want to keep throwing shade at Bandai of America, but, like, if you compare this to Bandai of America, you know, if Bandai of America had decided to do this, and, you know, they really didn't put that much effort in most of the time, but if they had decided to do something like this, you would have gotten 5 little figurines that would have been the solid Ranger color. Gold, blue, yellow, silver, and red. They wouldn't have painted them at all. So for them to not only be painted, but painted nicely, the silver is shiny, and the blue on his gloves and everything is very nice. There's silver on the belt buckle, and just all of that. It's just surprisingly good. When you take this out of the box, you can see there's actually a little plastic piece that holds the figures in place. You could, I suppose, take that out, though I don't really see a reason. I think it's better for them to be held in place like they are. Turn it that way to show, you can see the bar that makes it adjustable, and it rises up near about to height with the Ultrazord, I should say. Now we get over to the Beast X Ultrazord itself, and in the immortal words of Teen Girl Squad, I'm hesitant. I like how it gets put together. It occurs to me that since this is no longer Bandai of America, this is Hasbro, this is our first Megazord in a long time, because Bandai didn't always do this, but our first Megazord in a long time that does not use the Zord builder system. So there's actually a variety of slots and pegs and things of that nature. But the main thing for me is that you can see right off the bat that it's kind of leaning to its left, to your right. Some of the connectors, as I was taking this out, and you know how things will come in a box where it's kind of secured in place with straps and stuff, but it's not physically connected because they don't think the connectors are going to hold through shipping? That's kind of a thing. And I think one example I can give you here to showcase what I mean is, if I can just turn this arm back down, which, by the way, that's not ratcheting, that's just rotating, so that is nice. But the rabbit chopper head right here, that pegs into that shoulder, just pops off like that. It just pops right back in. But that's a very loose connector. And it's the same thing over here. You know, not the best connectors in the world, but there you go. It stands pretty sturdy. Honestly, these connectors down here, where the Cheetah Zord's legs go into the Gorilla Zord, are what I'm most, finger quotes, concerned about, because I had that fall apart several times while I was taking this out, putting it together and everything. But there we go. Just to show you how complicated this thing is really quick, these are the instructions. I'd say it's about 2 or 3 pieces of paper tall by about 4 or 5 wide. They use both sides to demonstrate how to put all the different combinations together. I do love that it's in color. There are, of course, very little, if any, written instructions. It's all pictographs, but there's that. Alright, so at this point, I'm going to pop all the pieces off and break this thing all the way down to its individual Zords, so I can show those off, and then we can get into the different Megazords, and then putting the Beast X Ultrazord back together. Just wanted to show you here, as I've got everything dismantled, just the pile of parts for each Zord. Let me tell you, heroes, if you want to get and play and work with these Zords, work is the right word. This was another at least 20, if not 30 minutes of dismantling and putting together and assigning the parts in the right places and all of that. But as you can see, I finally have the 5 Zords separated. Right now, they are all in animal mode, and I'm going to go over each of those. So as I look at these Zords one at a time, I'm going to start with the 3 that don't have the 3rd mode. So that'll be Gorilla, Jackrabbit, and Scarab. And I'll show you them in their animal modes and then switch them over into their vehicle modes. And then we'll talk about Jaguar and Mantis, and I'll switch them into their vehicle modes, and then we'll be able to switch them into their standing up modes, and we'll put together the Striker Megazord, and we'll put together the Beast X Megazord, and then finally, yes, we will reassemble the Beast X Ultrazord. So we start off the individual Zord reviews with the Jackrabbit Chopper Zord. I think because it's the smallest, I like this. You know, it's well painted, it's well detailed. I don't know if you can notice here, but it has some like groove detailing where it's not just solid yellow, but it just has some slightly darker parts inside the grooves there. Some people would do that to other things on purpose with like a wash on there, if you will. But it looks like that comes with that already. And you have the helmet piece on the back for the Megazord. The chopper blades move, which is very nice. Whoop! They also come off. So be ready for that. Just to show you, that pegs in with 2 holes right on top, just like that. And don't worry, we're going to be talking about connector strength as part of the review. But there is that. I think the head looks nice. The eyes are painted. One thing I like, and this is kind of just the theme of this Megazord in general, is just different parts in different places and how things correspond. You see here that the Jackrabbit Zord has a blue foot and a red foot, and it gets that helmet piece there and that helmet piece back there. And, you know, I think that's a neat aspect to everything. Alright, let's switch this over into chopper mode. So here we are in basic chopper mode, and I'll explain that in a second. You can basically see the, you know, there's been some parts flipped around. That Megazord faceplate thing is now on top here, and this is down on the bottom. You know, the parts open up. This isn't intended as much as a how to put this together video, but just demonstrating how the different modes look and everything. One thing I'm slightly disappointed about is that just the way everything's put together, you can't really spin the blades around. That's not high enough. Oh, well, okay. If you lift up a little bit, it will spin, but like not like, you know, etc., etc. So I said basic chopper mode, you can see because of the window there, but you can just pop that off. I love how this attaches, by the way. It's just kind of a swiveling joint that goes into this whole section right here. You can flip that back around. And look, it's rabbit chopper mode. Yay! We will keep to the skies and go with the silver scarab jet Zord, and this is really my favorite of all of them, and I think it's just the bug design, the legs, and these pincer things, which as you can see do open and close, which is very, very nice. And I do like the nice silver color. You have another obvious Megazord faceplate right up there, but you know, it's very, you know, they have that nice silver and blue on it, and just, you know, I really like the design of this one. But speaking of its design, let's switch it into jet mode. Alright, so this has got to be one of the easiest transformations between the two modes. I think I may even just go ahead and demonstrate it for you, because it's really just putting the legs and the pincers away and pulling the wings out. So, to show you here, you know, these just fold out like this. The head of the jet folds back like that. These front legs fold down. Then you fold the wings up, and you have a leg that folds out, and a leg that folds up, and a leg that folds out, and a leg that folds up. And just like that, it's back into scarab needle mode. Fold the legs in, fold the legs in, wings down, fold up the back legs, fold back the pincers, fold out the nose cone, jet mode. Pretty easy, and it looks good. Here, unfortunately, I think we get to the weakest part of the Zord set, and that might just be the necessities of building the Megazord, and that is the Gorilla Wheeler Zord here. And I say that because it just can't do what it's supposed to. And that's mainly due, as I get closer to it here, to a really small and kind of weak connector. See, it just pops right off there. Just that little hole and that little connector. And it just pops in there. But it, you know, it can't bend. It can't get into a gorilla type shape. And you know, looking at the instructions, this is what it looks like on the instructions. This is successfully built. This part in the middle might be backwards, and I say that because this CE is showing, and that part is usually hidden. But I mean, I had that actually flipped around the first time. The instructions seem to indicate that this peg should be facing out. So, you know, as far as I can tell, this is how it's supposed to be, and it's just kind of the brick part of the Megazord that just kind of stands there. So let's see if it's any better in Wheeler mode. So one other thing about this, and it is kind of frustrating as well, I don't actually have this exactly how it looks in the instructions because his head is supposed to be up here, but I have pushed on this thing for minutes at a time and I can't get it to go up that track. So I don't know. Getting this thing switched into Wheeler mode was more frustrating than it should have been because of this part right here. I could not make it attach for the life of me, and it demonstrates how frustrating pictograph instructions could be because I was looking at the instructions and I just could not figure out what I was doing wrong, and on a whim I changed the placement of these two wheels and it made everything fit. So there's that. That being said, I like this thing in Wheeler mode a lot better than Gorilla mode because it looks how it's supposed to look. It, you know, works how it's supposed to work. Shiny silver you see there. That underused, I think, Cheetah Gorilla Jackrabbit Grid Battle Force logo, Go Busters logo that I really like. The wheels spin. Whoops. It rolls. It's good. And here we have the Red Ranger Zord itself, the Cheetah Zord. I have to say right off the bat, and this is just an element of the design, it's not something they specifically did or changed, but one thing I really don't like about this is these pathetic little legs on the back, these dinky little tiny... I mean, I know Cheetah was the most... don't get sad. I know Cheetah was the least used mode for this Zord, but just, those legs are dinky. Otherwise, I love the way this looks, and the fact that they were able to make a cheat out of this at all is impressive. The sword tail's a little weird too, but that's fine. Alright, first we are going to convert to racer mode. This is another one that was actually a lot easier than I was expecting it to be. I guess as you work with these a little bit, you start to figure out where the pieces go and everything. It's just folding legs up and in and folding wheels out. I really like the race car design. It kind of seems like this is what one aspect of this was designed to be. The race car part and then the stand-up battle mode. And then it was like, well, we want it to be a cheetah too, and they kind of had to force that in with the little tiny legs that I complained about. I like the sword as the spoiler there. That's always a nice touch as well. Again, really good paint on these Zords. Shiny red, shiny silver. Again, the wheels do move. This will actually roll very nicely. But as I was just saying, this thing has 3 modes, so let's switch this thing into battle mode. Okay, true story here and absolutely full disclosure. I was trying to revert from car mode into standing up battle mode here, and I could not figure it out. I couldn't. There was something I was missing because his head was in like the middle of his body, and the instructions, again, they're pictographs, they're not written instructions, and I realized that's because pictographs you can release across any range of languages, you know, whereas with written words, you'd have to have the written words for every language, for every market you intend to release in, but sometimes they're very unclear, and this was an example. So the specific instruction I was having a lot of trouble with is really right near the start, because you see there it's in basically car mode, but is this instruction right here where you see, you know, and again, this is going into car mode, so you have to work backwards, and it just has these going up and a snap. And I knew that it had to come up, but I couldn't figure out how to make it do that. There was no release button. I know now from the video I just watched, spoilers, that on the Japanese version, those little ridges there are release tabs, but this version does not have them. And so I was absolutely baffled, and finally I went away from the instructions and I went to the internet, and I looked for a video that would show how to put this together, and I found my good friend Japanime's review of the Beast Racer Zord, and he goes through the transformation process, and it revealed it. It's that these car parts here swing up and down over the midsection right here. That's what that part of the instructions was telling me, and now that I know that, yes, I can see what it's trying to say, but it's just kind of frustrating. To be honest, the battle mode here for me is kind of in the middle, you know, like literally, but also I like the racer mode the best, I like the cheetah mode the least, and this is kind of in the middle. It's kind of plain, it's kind of a big red brick, but it functions for what it does, you know. I love the paint on these. Again, they're very well detailed and everything. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we got ourselves a big chunky boy. This is the Mantis Zord. It's definitely not any kind of other animal, rhinoceros beetle. So yeah, this is the Mantis Zord. I like how weird it looks, if that makes sense. The big red eye on here, and just this big section with the front there. I like the gold paint on it. I will say, yeah, that tab that holds that in place is a little wiggly, which is kind of a running theme, sadly. But look how sparkly this paint on the eye is. That almost sounded like I was trying to distract you from it, but just honestly, I like really good sparkly paint on this. And there is that. And now we're going to get this into wrecker mode. Just look at these instructions for a second. You know, I know it has 3 different modes, but just look! And ladies and gentlemen, we have done it. This is the Wrecker Zord. This was actually a lot easier because for this Zord, the directions went forward from animal mode to vehicle mode, whereas the instructions for the Cheetah Zord, the Racer Zord, go the other way around. So I had to work backwards, but this way I could just follow the directions, and they were pretty easy. One thing I'll say I don't like here is the arm. The wrecker arm pegs in right here, and you would think sitting on this gun like it is, there'd be some kind of way that it would hold it, but it doesn't. It just sits there, and it can flop wobble right off. But I like the paint. This mode is a little for me because it's just a car, you know, and it doesn't, I think it faces dunk. I think it faces that way. But it's just kind of a car, and it has its wrecker arm and everything. I'm going to put these Zords into their Megazord modes. I have lost track of time. I think I've been here for days. I'm hungry. I'm thirsty. My cats miss me. Just kidding. We have the 2 Megazords assembled. I'm actually surprised that the Striker Megazord is shorter than the Beast-X Megazord. But now we're starting to hit that point where I'm really appreciating the engineering. And one thing I think with Hasbro versus Bandai is that they incorporate in a lot more of the parts that fold and move and change direction and flip over. I mean, you saw the complexity of those directions, and that's just, you know, a factor here. So we'll start over here with the Beast-X Megazord. I've always appreciated the color balance of the red, blue, and yellow on there, and there's some contrasting silver, even a little bit of gold. So this thing already really has all 5 of the colors on there. I just love how, like, you have parts of the Rabbit Chopper Zord on the blade there, and, you know, its other weapon there, and just how it all goes together. Again, these connectors, this is obviously the front of the Racer Zord's car part, and it just kind of snaps in. You hear a snap, so something grabs it, but yeah, you know, it's not always the best. And again, like I already mentioned, these connectors up here where the heads go up on the shoulders, it's a little but this is not bad by any means. You know I sound like this review is going to end up being negative, and I do have some negative points, but it's definitely not bad. I definitely think it's a worthwhile addition. And we move over here to the Striker Megazord, which is, you know, very clearly just the Mantis Zord in battle mode with the parts of the Scarab Jet Zord just slapped onto it, you know, holding most of the nose cone over here. And I like how the wings attach over here and then the pincers come down for another weapon. That's neat. The leg parts on there. The engine basically strapped to its chest. And it's a good look there. It's mostly, obviously, gold and silver, but you have a little bit of blue, you have a little bit of red. To be honest, not really any yellow, but, you know, still colorful, good Megazords. I kind of like how the Beast-X Megazord focuses on being tall but lean, and the Striker Megazord is kind of shorter but stout and bulkier. It's kind of a Laurel and Hardy situation, as weird as that sounds. Okay, now is the final challenge, the final countdown, shall we say. It is time to combine these 2 Megazords into the Beast X Ultrazord once again. Begin recording day 14 of Beast X Ultrazord assembly. I'm kidding. This is really complex and a lot of parts, which is actually good for a big Ultrazord formation. I finally got it back together. The trickiest part is that upper section on the back. So if you see the blue, yellow, and gold section right here, they fit together kind of awkwardly because this gold piece wants to be more straight down. The yellow piece pushes it out a little to fit where it is. I checked the directions. That's how it goes. So that's how it goes. One of the reasons that I think Go Busters was a great first choice for Hasbro to adapt is these type of elements, the Zords, the Mecha and Go Busters, the way they break apart into so many different pieces and recombine really gave them a chance to show what they can do with combining elements. My pros for this are that I think they're very well painted Zords. I mentioned the little figurines, but the Zords, I believe, are very well painted. I don't notice a ton of stickers, but if there are a lot, they're well used and it's just well painted. There's a lot of shimmery paint, a lot more than you would see with Bandai releases. Again, not to keep comparing, but I think we're seeing more paint. The engineering is very good. All of the different pieces, they seem to combine very accurately. My major drawback on this is actually the loss of Zord Builder, because Zord Builder ports, for the most part, I felt were pretty solid. Here we have some connectors that are loose, that are just, you know, like this just kind of holds this a little bit. They're a little bit wobbly. Again, my biggest example is how the Racer Zord's legs slot into the Gorilla Zords. I think that's a very loose connector, unfortunately. All in all, this is an Ultrazord formation that I'm not terribly excited about moving. To be honest, now that I have another big Megazord formation, I think that it's going to slot over that way and balance the Samurai Gigazord being able to stay on my filming set, and I'll have one big one on each side. So that'll work out for me. Again, I'm kind of sorry that I didn't show you all how to combine them, but you might remember from my Gigazord video that that's a pretty long process, and I don't know if that's a great thing to have in a video like this. I'm more reviewing the actual formations and everything themselves. All in all, I think, I don't usually give toys like a numerical score. It's usually just a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I would give this a narrow thumbs up. I'd give it about like a 3.5 out of 5. Well painted, like I said, well articulated. The parts combine very well. The various modes look exactly like they're supposed to. It's just a little heavy for itself. The connectors, I think, could be a little bit better. Again, this is Hasbro's first effort with Zords, although they've been doing Transformers forever, and it's basically the same thing, so I don't know. I do think this is pretty good. I do also think it could be better, so that is my take on that. Thank you so much for watching my review of the Hasbro Beast X Ultrazord. I do, again, give it my recommendation. This is on Amazon for a little over $150, which is about $30 for each of the 5 Zords. Again, for the Rabbit Chopper Zord, $30 is kind of a ripoff. For the Mantis Zord, that's actually a pretty good deal. So you have to kind of balance it in your mind that way. Of course, you'll also... I was going to say that you'll be paying for shipping, but because it's Amazon, you won't be paying for shipping, but you can pay for it if you want to get it faster. It actually got to me very quickly, in less than a week, I want to say. So that was a positive. In the comments below, you can let me know what you think of this Ultrazord toy. If you got it, did you put it together through the individual Zords, or did you order the set from Amazon, and what do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, make sure to smack that thumbs up button and let me know that you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed so you see toy videos whenever they come out. Make sure you ring that bell, get your notifications set up so you're notified whenever I post brand new videos such as these toy videos. And if you'd like to lend any financial support to my channel, because I just dropped $150 on a Megazord, you can check me out on Patreon or Ko-fi at Orange Ranger Videos. Thank you so much for watching, heroes, and until next time, may the power protect you. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did do the salute even though you can't see me.